The month that you meet your baby is a really great place to look for inspiration for their name. We all love our own birthday month. I think if you could see the calendar, it sort of pings out at you the most, and it's a time when we really celebrate the day when you literally met your baby, and maybe the day you became a mother for the first time if it's your first baby. And months have so many beautiful associations. They've got their own zodiac signs, they've got their own festivals and traditions, they've got their own vibe, and they've got their own special things that we do, and summer is packed full of those. I've gone through tons and tons of trends within summertime and picked out some gorgeous baby names for boys and girls, which I hope you will love. My name is SJ, I'm a baby name consultant here in the UK, and I would love you to follow me for all things baby names here on YouTube. There are loads more summer inspired names from my old videos, which I will link in the description box below. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so shiny. I haven't gone super literal for all of these. These are sort of my summer vibes names. I'm starting with a girl named Amity. I absolutely love it because it's a short name, but it's got the 3 syllables packed into it, and it means friendship. And I just think for summer vibes, it's all about friendship, that time with friends, that time to really play and be friends with your own kids. Let's try that this year. And it's a really rare gem. There were only 6 babies named Amity last year. It's a longer form of Amy, which I love the name Amy. It means beloved as well. So beloved friendship could be just such a great name for a little sister as well. Be super cute. The next one I've done is Liberty. I love the name Liberty. Always have. Whenever I hear it, I'm like, such a good name. I love the nickname Libby as well. And it means freedom. And again, these are sort of summer vibe names. So I feel like if you're having a baby in the summer, every single summertime is just when like school's out, everyone feels that sense of freedom. We get the longer days, and you might get some freedom as well as a mum if you get some time off work and all the other responsibilities. And I just think the name is perfect for a summer born. Next name was given to 10 girls last year, and it's the name Aria. Aria, isn't that so pretty? And it means the first ray of sun. It's a little bit more literal now, there's some more going up, and I really, really love it. Isn't that so pretty? And I've not heard it before, and there's so many EV, AV names out there. So it is the Avia, so normally you would have the 2 A's. You could shorten it, but what people have done to sort of westernise it, because it's an Indian name, is they're going with Avaya. So Avaya is maybe a more popular spelling now. There were 28 girls named Avaya last year, and it's got exactly the same meaning, that first ray of sunshine. I think it's adorable. You would never get bored of introducing your baby's name if it was Avaya. This next one's a bit of a gender neutral gem, and it's the name Sandy. So stick with me. I have never really been a fan of this name until recently, when a YouTuber who I love used it, and I was like, I absolutely love it. I just see little kids running along the beach in their linen. I just think it is really, really great, and it's getting some use. It was only used for 4 boys and 7 girls last year, and it's got what we love, which is that vintage first name, vintage nickname as first name, so it would be like for a Sandra or something. But I just think it's really dead cool, and I think it is such summer vibes. I don't know if it's a Marmite name. Please let me know what you think of it. Like, now I've said it, when you imagine it on a little modern baby, do you love it? Because for a while this was a bit of like a mum's name. I've got an Auntie Sandy, so I guess I always thought of her, but suddenly I'm all over the name Sandy. The name Summer, this is my niece's name, and I absolutely adore it. Obviously, we are in the summer, and in June particularly, we just had Summer Solstice, which is really, really great, where it's the longest day of the year, and the name is enduringly popular. It's our most popular season name, so it's more commonly known as a name, even though autumn's getting a lot of use. Then we have winter, and there were a few babies called Spring last year. We're getting onto it. The nickname would be Sunny. I looked at how many people are using Sunny by itself, and there were 29 girls and 56 boys just named Sunny, and I adore that as well. So I think you could easily go with Summer or Sunny and have a beautiful, beautiful baby name. Or another way of doing it is the name Solomon. So I love the name Solomon, and it literally means the sun. Sol means sun. So I just think it's really, really cool as well. I like the nickname Sol by itself. I think it really works for a baby, a teen, an older guy. It's a really great one, isn't it? And it's long. We like those sort of longer names as well. It's at number 381 in the UK, so you're getting quite a rare one. But again, it's one that everybody knows, the name Solomon. What do you think of it? I think it's a really cool version of, if you have Summer for a girl on your list, you might want to add Solomon for a boy. There are some other ones. To go with the name Nico, and with a double KO, which I think looks so cool. It actually means sunshine. So I absolutely really think that's really lovely. And if you've got Noah, which is the #1 name on your list, Nico is really good alternative to it. And I also thought then you could say we were going to picnic. So bad. But I really like the name Nico. I hear it a lot. Around sort of a bit older boys have got the name Nico, but not with this spelling. So I know it means you have to spell it, but I think it's worth it because I love that little spelling of it. Lucian, what do you think of this if you are a Court of Thorn and Roses fan? Akatar, just recently got into that. And then Lucian's a really great name for you, but it means ray of light. So like Lucia for girls or Lucian for boys. And obviously in the summertime, we are hopefully flooded with a day of light. We have, as I said, the summer solstice, the longest day, the most sunniest day of the year. And I think the name Lucian's really, really trendy. It's really different. It's kind of soft, which I really like. But then you've got Luca as a nickname, which is really popular at the moment. And I think it works super duper well for a modern boy name for this time of year. Name Sunday has become really trendy the last few years for girls. Just very recently, the last sort of 3-4 years, there were 41 girls named Sunday last year, and it's just becoming a lot more wearable. We did have a celebrity who used it for her daughter, and don't think you have to be born on a Sunday to be called Sunday, particularly if it's a summer name, because Sunday actually comes from the Norse goddess of sun and soul, and all the goddesses and gods sort of named the days of the week in mythology, and so Sunday is sort of the day of the sun, and I just think that that's really, really beautiful. It's 100% getting used for girls at the moment, which is weird because everyone on Instagram says my Sunday when they're spending their day with their sons. So it makes more sense in a way for boys. What do you think? But Sunday, I absolutely love it. I would 110% have had this on my list, but it would have been vetoed immediately by my partner. So it's not in the traditional but trendy. It's kind of in the more middle ground but word names are so popular at the moment, especially whimsical word names. I've got my whole list on the go for that. And there's lots in this summertime list as well, but I think that go with Sunday if you want to be a bit braver than summer. Jump onto Sunday and be very, very smug with yourself at that announcement. I actually do have a guilty pleasure crush on the name Sailor, so I would be quite brave to use it. It's definitely a daring choice, but it is in use. There were 3 girls and 4 boys named Sailor last year, and I really love it. It's 100% such a summertime name, like being out on the sea. And if you've got like a heritage in that, like my husband's granddad was a sailor, was a fisherman, so we could have probably got away with it. I might have been able to sneak it in there for him. If it is too kind of on the nose, on the money for you, you can use the name of a sea. So there's Adrian, which is a name of the Adriatic Sea, Caspian, which is the name of a sea, and all make absolutely brilliant summer baby names. And I found an unranked name that was given to 3 boys a few years ago, but 3 is kind of when they start registering them, and then it goes like a 0, but it's the name Hurley. Have you heard it? So normally it's a surname, a first name, so that's really trendy. As we know, there are lots of surname and first names, Hurley. And Hurley means sea valor, so to have valor when you're at sea, so to be able to flow with the tides and to ride the waves. So I love that as a sort of a virtue as well. If it's been like, you know, you feel like lots of us ask for names like for brave, warrior, for, you know, endurance. Maybe not that one, but you know, that sort of strength of character. And Hurley could be a really interesting choice, meaning sea valor. Nice to see if you are using it. Names ending in L-E-Y are all over the charts, but not Hurley. So maybe a little rare gem. So sort of beachy, seasidey names, which I really love. It gives you that sort of summer vibe as well, the name Coral. I'm always so surprised how low down the charts the name Coral is. There were only 22 girls named Coral last year. Do you have a reason why? I think it's enduringly beautiful because it sounds vintage to me, like with Cora, but you've also got the colour coral, which I love, that orangey colour, and it's an animal. It looks like a plant, but it's an animal obviously in the sea. We know about the coral reef, so it just feels like a great one for people who love travel, people who love the summertime, for a baby born in this season, and I just think it is absolutely beautiful. So I'm surprised to see there were only 22 girls called Coral last year, and I think we should be the community to bring it back. It's very similar to the name Pearl, which I've put next on my list. I have pearls on so many name lists because it's got the 1 syllable thing going for it, it's got the retro thing, it's the nickname and first name thing. There's just so many reasons to love the name Pearl. And it is also, though, the birthstone for the month of June. So if you are having a baby this month, then Pearl is absolutely tick, tick, tick perfect for you, and a perfect summer name as well. I love it. I love the whole stories around pearls are just absolutely beautiful, and it's a really lovely one to use their birthstone for when they are born, and we've got a few more options for those later as well. The next name is a Finnish name that means wave, like wave in a sea. So it's got that really beachy vibe, and it's named Alto. So you would spell it A-L-T-O traditionally, Alto, but then you think of like Palo Alto, I would say. I don't say Palo Alto and place names, but it means wave in Finnish. Then Palo Alto literally means tall stick, and then there's also Barrio Alto in Lisbon. So it's kind of got loads of ticks for me because I love that it fits into this minimalist trend of summer. Summer is like fashionably, all about kind of minimalist and sort of whites, and you could just imagine somebody dressed all almost Alto. I don't know, it just really works for me. I love that it's Finnish, I love that it means wave, I think that's absolutely beautiful, and I like that it's got that place travel vibes to it as well. I just really like it as a name. I probably would just go with one A if I was using this here, because the double A, even though we have Aaron, and so we're not totally confused, and they'd always like come first in some registers. So that's always a good thing to do, but Alto, love it. Think it's a really cool one. The next one again is a little challenge in these ones, is the name June, as in sand dune. And I really like this, and I do know somebody who's used this, and I thought it was dead cool. A sand dune is like a sandy hill, and it is, and it also sounds like June, the month we're in. So I do think it's really cool for a summer baby. I know that the big movie is out called June as well. I did sort of look at why it was called June. I think it's because the surface of the place where it's set is all dry dunes, but I haven't seen it, not one nor two. But I do love the name, and it works for either gender. And we have names like Coast, we have names like Cove, we have names like Haven, all working around these sort of beachy vibes, and I feel like June could really sit in with it. Next I looked at topical names, so like sort of festivals and fun, which is what you think about when you think of summertime as well, and places where you're going to be getting together with people and celebrating, and you might have these as really big traditions in your diary and quite fun for them to be named after them. Stuff I've done quite a normal one, Juno. After June, I thought I should say Juno, who is the goddess of the month of June. So traditionally it is a goddess name, so it would be more feminine, but I actually think it's got real masculine vibes with the O ending, and we used to Jude for a boy, so I think it really works for either boy or girl. And it could also be used to honour a John as well, or a June that you've got in your family. Obviously we love Juniper, but I love Juno so much. Great name. So you could go with, if you are a Wimbledon fan, a tennis player's name. So have a think about one do you like. I'm not a big tennis watcher, which is weird. I used to watch when I was a teenager, weirdly. But you know, you could go with Venus or Serena and just have this sort of really cool tennis-inspired name if you absolutely love Wimbledon. The other one you can do, which is really fun, is the name Fraser for a boy. Totally funny, but Fraser actually means strawberry, which I always think is really cute reason to use it. And you've got the Wimbledon link, but you also have the strawberry moon. So on Midsummer Night, the moon is called the strawberry moon. It's the big, huge moon, it's beautiful. Then if you had your little Fraser, you could always go up. A lot of people went up and watched the moon on Midsummer Night to see the strawberry moon. So I think it's quite cool, isn't it? And then you have like all strawberries around their little room and everything. They can always have little strawberry cakes. I just think it's a really cute way of bringing the month that they're born into their name. Or are you a festival goer? Like, do you love Glastonbury? Everyone I think loves Glastonbury. If you're not going to watch it, I was thinking something they were calling it a Glaston nearly or something, where you post it at home, watch it on TV, which I thought was quite cool. So I really loved some names associated with Glastonbury. So you could go with Avalon. So Avalon sounds really out there, but when you think Olivia and Amelia are right at the top of the charts, Avalon really works. It means Isle of Apples, but Glastonbury is also known as the Isle of Avalon. So in mythology, it was a place where King Arthur went for his last battle. And so you've got Avalon stage at Glastonbury, and the town is beautiful. If you don't go to the festival, I went to Glastonbury and absolutely loved just going to the town a while ago. I have been to the festival, but loved Avalon as a name. Or you could go with Tor, T-O-R. The Glastonbury Tor is like this big hill with this monument on the top, and it's supposed to be where the Holy Grail lives, and you walk around and you go up it. So when everyone gets saying to me, when you go to Glastonbury, make sure to do the tour, I thought they meant tour as in tour around, but T-O-R. And I do know a little boy called Tor. It comes from Thor as well. So there was a little boy in, I I think it was Freddie's class when we lived in Richmond, called Tour, and I really liked it. And again, I think like with Alto and it fitting into that one syllable boy name, that's a little bit more challenging for sure, a little bit more unique, but that's why you come for these name lists. You don't want the top 5 names, and I think that Tour is a great one, particularly if you're a Glastonbury goer. Rose is the birth flower for the month of June, and the name Rose is absolutely gorgeous, and there are so many variations of it. There's Rosa, there's Rosalind, there's Rosenwyn. You can put it at the end with Primrose or Melrose or Bella Rose. So roses are a beautiful time to use. The name Rose is in June because it is it's a flower month. So you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But if you're having a boy, then how about the name Jared? Jared actually means rose. Isn't that so lovely? And I personally love the name Jared, as am my so-called live mega fan, aka just really wanted to about Jordan Catalano. I love the name Jared, and I think it's really cool for a little boy. So I was surprised to see, I looked it up, that there were only 26 babies named Jared last year. It's kind of been on an outward trend since sort of around the 90s. So I think 90s are back. Let's bring back Jared. And then if you ever meet Jared later, you can see my baby's named Jared, and maybe he would just kiss you downstairs in the basement, because that's what all new mums want. But I absolutely think the name is amazing. So if you were born in June, you would be a Gemini. So you can do names meaning twin and bringing that sort of Gemini vibe into your name if you want to. So the name Tommy means twin, and I like the name Tommy. I think it's got that summer vibe of being quite smiley and playful as well. And in terms of boys' nicknames, where there are so many around, Tommy you hear a little bit less, but it is at number 24, but doesn't seem as common as some of the others. I don't know any Tommies, do you? Whereas I know so many Berties, Albies, all of those, but Tommy I really think is great. It means twin. And then for girls, a name meaning twin is the beautiful name Linnea. It's a twin flower, and we love this here on the channel. We're always talking about it. It's one of our rare floral gems, Linnea. And there were 9 girls called Linnea last year, so I think that's just everyone from here basically who chose it. So you can know, if you ever meet someone from Linnea, be like, did you get that from Baby Name Mondays? Or maybe they did, because I absolutely love it, and we'll always talk about it, and I love that it means twin. Island vibes. I never go to tropical islands, and this summer I am. I'm going on a very exciting holiday this summer, and I've just got really into island vibes. The name I see everywhere at the moment is the name Capri. Have you seen it? I've seen a lot of people using the name Capri. Capri pants are back as well. Can you believe it? They're named after the island. There were 12 girls called Capri last year, so I think maybe this is getting more use over in America. Maybe that's where I'm seeing it. Let me know if you are over there, if you're in America or somewhere where it gets used a lot. So it means wild boar or wild goats. Because I guess the animals living on the island, but for us it's very much that sort of destination. I think of this as like yacht club style, very posh. Like I'm a Marl Clooney, and I've got like I can't say apparel spritz, I say it wrong. I say apparel, it's apparel. I can't say it, apparel? I can't say it right. Anyway, I have one of them, which I can't order anymore since all my friends did them at me. But that is me, and my daughter is called Capri, and I just think it is really dead trendy. I'm really into trendy names at the moment. Like, I'm normally such a vintage girl, but at the moment I'm just really liking hearing the new ones that are coming up, and I think Capri is like a real double tick for me. And then Riviera. So River is our most popularly rising gender neutral name in the UK. Obviously real word name, nature name, and Riviera is the same. It means coastline in Italian. So I did read a few forums because a mum was like, I'm going to call my child Riviera, what do you think? And it was mixed reviews. Some were like, oh, it's a little bit too long. Some were like, it's a beautiful way of feminizing river, and I absolutely love it with the A ending. So it might get a little few like raised eyebrows, but also if you absolutely love it, love it. And I just think when you think of a summer baby in Riviera, Capri, it's just got those sort of really cool vibes. I can tell I'm going on holiday, like somewhere posh. Somewhere where I'd never normally go, because I'm really excited about these types of names. And then I've done Cove. I think I did mention Cove earlier, but it is one of my absolute favourites in this category. Gender neutral, exactly 10 boys and exactly 10 girls were called Cove last year. I love that without the C it says love, and I think it is so wearable, one syllable, minimalist summer name that would be the envy of all your friends. Well, it would be me anyway. Island vibes felt more girly to me, and then I did some really earthy boy names for summer that might be a little bit ones you wouldn't think of as summer names, but I absolutely loved. So I did Vermont, which means green mountains. Not getting used at the moment, but I love it. We've got Vernon as a kind of vintage name. I think Vermont as a place name, meaning green mountain, really cool. Obviously Season of the Sticks at the moment. I wonder if that will get this either on or off a few name lists. That song is absolutely everywhere. It's the one I sing with my nieces all the time. But I think it's really cool. We use Eden as a name, as a sort of place name. We've talked about Avalon, which is getting some use, and I think Vermont would be so trendy. Then you've got Monty as a nickname as well, which I think is really, really cool. Next name means marshy meadow, and it's the name Marley. And again, I think that that's got sort of the island vibes because you think of Bob Marley, but I think you think of this time of the year, being out in a really lovely field with all your friends. Marley really ticks the vibe checklist for me, and it was given to 44 boys and 133 girls, which I was surprised about because I always think of it as a boy name, maybe because Joe Wicks called his son Marley, didn't he? Is his son called Marley? Not the girl, I think it's the son, but it feels very masculine to me, so I really love that it's been given to so many boys and so many girls. And again, that L-E-Y ending, always really, really popular. And you might be looking for a name like that that's less used than like an Everly and all those who are higher up the chart. So Marley is really lovely. I know some people associate it with dogs because of the movie Marley and Me, but who watched that movie? Like, no, they're never going to watch that movie. Your Marley will never know that that movie existed. So I think it's a really beautiful one. And then I've done Orton, O-R-T-U-N. I've never heard this name before, and it means riverbank, and I absolutely love it as a rare nature gem. Can't believe I found another one because I feel like I've done those lists so many times and I absolutely love them. Orton, just really love the way it sounds. It might get confused with autumn, but when you see it written down, you never would. Orton. Don't you think that sounds so on trend of like Otto and all those names that are coming up, like Otis we talked about recently. Orton sounds really cool and it's got old money vibes for me. So Orton can be Orton and Capri. They are there together at the yacht club, and he's got like a sweater over his shoulder, and then she gets chilly and he gives it to Capri and she just puts it on, and then she puts like a little thing around her head, and then they go home in like a little sports car. That's what Orton and Capri are doing this summer, and I want you to use those names and get part of that little glam vibe for your own little household. Orton is so lovely and I loved the meaning of it. Apparently it comes from Cumberland, so if you're from Cumberland, that was where the history of this as a surname came from. Riverbank would have been the tribe living near the riverbank, and it's getting some use as a first name, but not over here. It's unranked in the UK. My very last one, and then I'm going to do some fun British seaside names because I loved them, is the name Ripley. So we're watching Ripley at the moment on Netflix, and I was like, oh, Netflix and naming is one of everyone's favourite pregnancy pastimes, and Ripley's so cool because I think of ripples in the water, which I love, but it also means a clearing in the woods. There were 7 boys and 20 girls named Ripley last year, so maybe the girls are getting it from the movie Alien, the mums, but for me it just feels literally like I'm watching the sunset and that beautiful golden hour when all the ripples over the river or ripples over the sea come out, and I just think it is really whimsical wordy to me. It's how I see the name Ripley. So some quick fire cool British coastal names. Ives in Cornwall. If you go to St Ives all the time, I absolutely love it as a name. You can go with Bally from Ireland, and I think that is so lovely. B-A-L-L-Y, absolutely adore it. I have done Cloverley, which is a place in Devon. I just have to pause for a second because I absolutely love it. Cloverley. I'm going to go there on my holidays. Gower in Wales. You ever been to the Gower in Wales? I think Gower works really cool as a little name as well. I have done this place called Oban, which is in Scotland. Oban. That sounds really, really cool. Alba, again, another Scottish coastal town that you could use. Dawlish is in Devon, really love that one. Sennen is Cornish, a little Cornish coastal town, and Cove, which is in Cork City, which is spelt C-O-B-H. You could go with Morva, M-O-R-V-A-H, which is a Cornish place name. Again, super duper trendy. So those were just some British coastal names I looked up and I was like, actually hit a very niche but cool area of baby names. I hope you enjoyed listening to these summer names. I really enjoyed putting this list together. Sorry I'm so shiny today. I don't know what's going on. I must be having a flush. I will see you next week with more baby names. Please hit subscribe if you have enjoyed this name list, and please do share it with a friend who is pregnant. I'm sure they will absolutely love it. Anyone who is expecting a baby loves to chat names, and I do as well. So I'd love to have you here as part of our lovely community. Add names below. You always come up with the best ideas, and I will see you next week. Bye guys.